Hi, so as promised, I am going to tell my story today. I don't know if you saw my post from earlier this morning, but there's still 3 opportunities to get a $10 Starbucks gift card. If you go back to what I posted earlier this morning and share it onto your wall, just send me your email address and I will send you a $10 Starbucks gift card. Anyways, you don't have to be a coffee drinker. You could always get like hot cocoa or tea also. But I wanted to talk about my story because a lot of people look at me and they're like, there's no way you lost weight, right? Because I looked like this for the last 3 years. But I would like to introduce you to the old Ray and kind of tell my story as how I got to be here in the first place, right? And it was a long journey. And I'm not going to, drag it out, but it was a long journey. It took a long time, and there's been a lot of educational moments along the way, things that I now know, like this year, that I learned this year, I didn't even know prior, right? So anyways, stop being so cryptic. Let's reverse back to I was, let's say, which story am I going to tell first? Gosh, some of them are embarrassing. I don't even know a specific age, but like in 10th grade, I was a little bit like on the chubbier side and I had lost my weight. I don't know, 10 pounds maybe. I never weighed myself, but what I'm trying to say is I didn't have good eating habits. My mom really tried to be healthy. She was always, poor thing, she was always bringing like all the healthy stuff into the house, and us kids, there's 6 of us in total, wanted nothing to do with it. So I would babysit. I grew up extremely poor. So I would, to get my own money, I would babysit around the neighborhood and different people, and starting from like the age of 12. And I would take my money and go up. We lived right near a fire station when I was growing up. It's a whole nother story. So much stuff went on. And we had a whole bunch of grocery stores right up the street. So I would take my money and I would go up to one of the grocery stores and I would buy like entire cakes or chocolate bars or, all the things my mom didn't want us to have, let's say. Sorry, Mom. But that is when my emotional relationship with food probably started to develop. But I also believe as people who celebrate so many holidays that we are taught to be emotional eaters. I've done a live about this before, that we're taught to be emotional eaters, I believe, all the way from childhood. When you fall down and your mother says, "Oh my goodness, are you okay? Here's a lollipop." You're training the brain to think pain equals food. But I want to also challenge your thought process on what emotional eating is, because I've helped thousands and thousands of people get healthy, right? So you can imagine I talk to thousands and thousands of more people because not everybody's ready. So if I talk to 20,000 people, 16,000 of them have gotten healthy, great. There's another 4,000 that I've spoken to and heard their stories. And one of the questions I ask them is, would you believe you're an emotional eater? And some of them are straight up and they're like, yep. And a lot of them are like, no, I'm not. I'm like, okay, well, what do you do for your birthday? Oh, we go out to eat and we have cake. Bingo, you're an emotional eater, which means that 99.9% of you are emotional eaters, unless you've done my plan and you no longer do that because you've gotten your mindset into a better track and you are working towards your goals rather than sabotaging along the way, thinking that birthdays and anniversaries and parties all mean food, because they don't. But we're taught to be emotional eaters, I believe, from a very young age. And I definitely exacerbated that by like sneaking food and buying food at grocery stores and eating it when no one was looking. And so my relationship with food was messed up. And as I grew older, I was thin. I met my husband in Israel, and we weren't eating well there, but I was walking so much, so like I didn't really notice any weight gain. Came home, got engaged at 19, and was put on the pill, where I promptly gained 60 pounds from, got married in July. So by August, I was probably up 30. I know, it was terrible. By the wedding, I was probably up like 10, another 20 by August. I remember because we went on our honeymoon and I was absolutely mortified at how I looked and I didn't want to be in any pictures. And then by, I would say September, I was up another 30. So I'm freaking out, right? Like, okay, we weren't eating well, but I was like, there has to be something else, right? Because you put 2 19-year-olds in charge of grocery shopping, and we were buying like Cocoa Pebbles. And I was also used to cooking for a family of 8. So I was making for us two, like the same amount of food. And then, this is back in the days of like, we didn't have television or internet. We were 19 years old. We were living on like $600 a week or something in income back in the day. But, we would go to Blockbuster. I'm now dating myself. We would go to Blockbuster. We had a little DVD player, and we'd watch movies in bed while eating like ice cream or bread and cheese or pasta. We would finish off like entire lasagnas all on our own. It was just like really bad eating habits. But I went to the doctor and I was like, I gained 60 pounds on this pill. Like there's something wrong here, right? So I went off of it in, I want to say December. In January, let me think, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, in January, I got pregnant with my oldest. So I was 20 years old, had just gained 60 pounds, and was now pregnant. Now, the good thing is I only gained about 13 pounds with her pregnancy, but it got me really high. Like I was pushing into the 190s at that point, and I'm 5'3". Like it was just not okay. In the meantime, we're eating terribly late at night. I'm pregnant. My husband's gaining his weight. He's losing it after gaining it back. Like he was in his own yo-yo cycle. But I lost like a little bit of the baby weight and then never got back down with those 60 pounds. Like those 60 pounds stayed on me forever. I went on every diet known to mankind. I mean, guys, I was trying to make a list of like everything I've done, and I can't even think. I did the usuals, the Weight Watchers, the Atkins. At one point I did HCG twice. I have told this story many times. I ended up in the ER twice. Like you think I would have learned after the first time not to do that, but I was so desperate. I was the girl in Walmart looking at all the different diet pills and like, which is the one, Allied or Ally or whatever it's called. It's like, if you take this, you might end up with horrific diarrhea, but like you might also lose weight. And so I was like kind of scared of the diarrhea thing. So I never bought that, but I would buy like all the CLA pills and all the, this one's going to help you decrease body fat. And this one helps you have, less cellulite. And like, I bought all of them, like all of them. I would spend hours online researching how to lose weight. And then if my friend lost weight on something, I was jumping on it too. So like I tried the 17-day diet with a different friend of mine who had, a lot of success. I never had any success. I did the cabbage soup diet. I've done just not eating. I've done all sorts of stuff. At one point I was working out so hard because I was so desperate. I was running on a track for like miles. But when you're doing that 60 pounds overweight, you hurt yourself. So I hurt my feet, and I actually got a clogged vein under my arm from the pressure of running. I'll just leave it there because we're about to go TMI, but I was in agony. I actually had to go see like a surgeon who was like, well, the only thing to do is to wait for it to go away. You could take Motrin. And I hurt myself. I hurt myself by working out. I just didn't know any different. All I knew was you eat like crap and you try to work out and you starve yourself and punish yourself for what you did when I just didn't know any better. And Emily, I would be honored to help you. I can get 80 pounds off you in about 8 months. It would literally be my pleasure to help you. So please message me. I'd love to chat. But we're talking, I gained my weight in 2006. And in 2010, I was breaking out in hives all over. I don't know if you guys can see this. I have a little hive right here that has not gone away for a while, which means that my thyroid's acting up and I'm used to it by now, but I didn't know what was wrong with me. I mean, I worked in a doctor's office. I was the head of finance in a doctor's office. I got hired there in 2007. So I'd been there for a while, and I would go down to the doctors probably weekly, and I'm like, guys, I really don't feel good. My feet hurt. I was having trouble breathing. I hated my body. I don't think you should. I don't think anyone should hate their body at a good weight or at a weight where they're not comfortable. I did. I felt like I had let myself down. I felt uncomfortable. I never wore anything that made me, it was all boxy, big stuff, always in the color black. Like I didn't want to wear heels. I never felt good about myself. It was hard to feel good about myself when I felt like I was stuck, So I would ask the doctors all the time, what can I do? How can I lose this weight? And so one of them offered me phentermine, which I posted about this morning. And he said, listen, I can give you phentermine, but you're going to have to do monthly EKGs to make sure that it's not weakening your heart, because you could be at risk for heart attacks. We're talking 2010, so I was 24, I think. I don't want to be at a risk for a heart attack. Like, they were doing EKGs on me anyways because I was having heart palpitations. Like, the whole thing was such a mess. I didn't want to be like that, but I didn't know any better, you know? In the meantime, my husband's father died a week before I had my, she's now 8. And he gained a ton of weight because he had finished medical school and didn't have a job and was just like hanging around, feeling depressed, had lost his father. So he had lost 70 pounds, he had gained that back plus another 30. So he had 100 pounds to lose. So we're both just a mess, you know. We have no clue how to eat. We have no clue how to take care of ourselves. I'm running out of desperation here, okay? I'm running out of, I don't feel good. I don't like the way I look. I want to love myself. I don't know how. I don't know how to take care of myself. I was in such a bad place. And so when I post pictures of my memories on Facebook of like how bad of a place I was in, like that is not even the tip of the iceberg. I just wasn't happy. I wanted to be happy. You know, it's hard to be happy when you don't feel like you're doing what's right by you, you know, and when you try so hard to lose weight and never see any results. So I was breaking out in hives and the doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, which has very much been the source of me not trusting the medical field in general and why I really have gone a more natural way, because I felt let down and I felt like they didn't help me in my time of need, you know? Did they know better? No, but I do now, you know, and I can take care of myself better because I'm in my body, you know? So if you suffer with thyroid disease or Hashimotos or an autoimmune disease, just know like what they're saying might not be the only case. It might not be the only answer. There are other things you can do, right? Anyways, I have allergists run some blood work because they're like, maybe you have an allergy. So it comes out I am allergic to cats, I'm allergic to a bunch of trees, and I'm allergic to latex, and I have Hashimotos. So she's like, you have an autoimmune disease, you should go see an endocrinologist. So I go see like the typical endocrinologist, and he's like, this is literally what he says to me. You have Hashimotos, it's an autoimmune disease, not a big deal. Doesn't put me on meds, doesn't do a sonogram to check it, like nothing invasive. He's just like, yep, is what it is. So I'm like, Hashimotos, like, what the heck is this, you know? So I start joining all the Facebook groups. I'm learning. I'm like, oh my God, my thyroid's attacking itself. Like, this makes no sense. I no longer believe that. We can get to that later, but it was really hard to think, okay, so now I'm sick, so now what, you know? Anyways, I get pregnant with my middle daughter, like, 6 months later. I have her. But while I was pregnant with her, I had horrific stomach issues and no one could figure out what it was. And I believe that was I believe that was the root cause, but it only came out later because gut health it's the main brain of your body. Your, you know, microbiomes in your gut are what directly affect your brain. And I believe it was caused by Epstein-Barr. You guys can believe whatever you want. I believe that my gut issues were caused by Epstein-Barr, which then led to my Hashimoto's. But by the time they caught it, it was too late. You know, like I only now knew I had it based on the results that I had gotten, right? So now I'm overweight, I'm exhausted, I'm having major stomach issues, and no doctors can help me. Anyways, I have my daughter, and I am like in brain fog, not feeling good, not losing any of my weight, completely feeling uncomfortable in my body. My feet are hurting me, I'm not sleeping well, I'm irritable, and my TSH is at a 10, which if anyone knows anything about thyroid, that's horrible. I was not functioning. I was like driving places and forgetting why I had gone there. It was really scary. This is in 2011. So finally they put me on Synthroid, which doesn't do much. I don't lose any weight. But fast forward to 2014, still suffering, still on meds, still going to, you know, doctors, still trying to figure everything out, but really solely relying on the medical field, which was my mistake. I just didn't know any better. And I get pregnant again, and I have my third and last baby. 6 months in, I discover that gluten is an exacerbator for autoimmune diseases. It's an inflammatory food, right? So I go off gluten, cold turkey. I wasn't healthy, but I had gone off gluten, and you could immediately see the inflammation go down in my face. Maybe I'll post some pictures so you can see. It made a big difference in my inflammation and my brain fog, but it didn't help with the weight. Fast forward about a month, I have a thyroid storm, which is my hormones for my thyroid were like in overdrive while I was pregnant. And around the 6 to 7 month postpartum mark, your body can flood. So I go hyperthyroid overnight. I lose 14 pounds overnight. I was still very heavy, but I remember I have pictures thinking, oh my God, I lost 14 pounds. I look so good. I didn't realize I was horrifically ill. So I ended up in the ER and it was just not good. Did not feel good, gained the weight right back when they, moved around my meds. So I went from hyper back to hypo. Now I'm gluten-free, and now I'm starting to really educate myself. And I'm realizing that they don't really know what they're saying, and that took me down a very long journey of finally getting onto, a more natural thyroid medication. I'd love to be off it altogether. I'd love to, get rid of my Hashimotos, but I know that that's a long journey. But I am seeing a naturopath now, and I'm on a lot of stuff that helps. I, for example, did a bunch of blood work that came back where I have no pancreatic enzymes, so I don't digest my food, so I take enzymes. And I have adrenal fatigue, which was causing my insomnia, so I take stuff for that. And I have literally containers full of pills that I take every day. But this is with a naturopath, and this is with someone who understands the body on both ends, right? Both sides of the coin. You're not just a single functioning body. You're not just a heart or just a gut or just a brain. You're everything all together. And your doctor should be recognizing that. Your doctor should be treating you as a whole, not as different parts. And so your thyroid being off is going to affect everything, right? That's a whole other topic, and I really should talk about thyroid all at once in one live, but let's go to the weight loss. So I had tried everything known to mankind. I was a size 18. I weighed almost 190 pounds at 5'3", and I was completely miserable and disappointed in myself and felt like, this is it. I'm just going to look like this forever. And in 2016, 2 girls at my work and a doctor at my work were doing this plan. And I was like, I don't want to spend money. I don't need to hire anybody. I can do this myself. And at that point, that's when I started the 17-day diet and saw no results. And finally, a girl came into my salon. In 2014 was when those girls were doing it at work, and I ignored them and didn't do it. In 2016, a girl comes into my salon, and I was like, oh my gosh, you look so good. How much weight did you lose? She was down like 25 pounds. I'm like, what'd you do? And she tells me she was doing the same health plan. And I was like, you know what? Can I call you? Let's just do this, And I figured it wasn't going to work, because why would this work when nothing else had worked? But I'll try, And I signed up. I got started, and to my absolute shock, I lost 11 pounds my first month, which for someone who had all the issues that I had and all the thyroid stuff and all the gut stuff is absolutely shocking. It's just, my doctors are like, I don't know how you did that. Well, I do know now, I was working off of science, and I reduced my inflammation. Long story short, I lost a total of 60 pounds. That was in 2016, from, May 2016 into November, so almost 2017, and it's been off, since then. My husband was down around 40 pounds, and he saw me losing weight, and he's like, okay, you're having such an easy time with it. You're not hungry. You don't even have to work out. You're just fixing your nutrition. I want to do this too. And he lost 60 pounds, so a total of 100 pounds was off him. So I'm the head of finance. He's in the operating room working 15-hour days. I own a salon. I had no interest in becoming a health coach, but people were coming to us, and people needed help, and people were telling us their stories. And so we did. I retired a few months later, and my husband retired a year later, and we've now helped tens of thousands of people. But what I want you to know is I get you. I understand you. I see you as a whole person. I don't see you as just someone who needs to lose weight. I see you as someone who's looking for friendship and direction and community and education, because I wasn't educated. I didn't know how to not be an emotional eater. Now, yeah, it's the holiday, but the holiday doesn't equal food. Just because you're not an emotional eater in the sense of, oh, you eat when you're depressed or you eat when you're sad. If you eat when you're happy or celebrating something, you're also an emotional eater. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you can rectify it. Does that mean you're not going to ever eat something yummy again? Or does that mean you're never going to go out for your birthday again? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying, who has control here? You or your food? You or the holiday? You or the situation? I lost my brother. I had already lost all my weight. and my younger brother died. And you know, guys, I think if I would have gained all my weight back then, I don't think any of you would have blamed me, right? Because my brother had died. My younger 24-year-old brother was gone. And it's literally the worst thing that has ever happened to me. And if I would have emotionally ate all my 60 pounds back on, you all would have given me forgiveness and room to be like, listen, well, that's what happens. But I didn't. And because I didn't emotionally eat while we mourned, my mom, my father, 4 of my cousins, and my sister all did my health plan and lost a ton of weight, which has then trickled down into more hundreds of people because they inspired other people. You see, you guys, what you do, it does something for other people. Your story is very powerful. Whether you decide to coach with me or not, you're going to inspire other people to get healthy and take control of their lives because you're giving them hope. I don't know how miserable you are on a scale of 1 to 10. I was at a 45. I was so desperate. And this plan, I can't make medical claims, but I can say just from my own personal, emotional well-being, it saved me. I have a life I never even imagined because I took a chance on the unknown. So the point is a few things. 1, you can get through this holiday season without emotional eating. Right? You can make good decisions. You can drink your water. You can eat smaller meals more often. You can eat the salad instead of the cake, or you could take a bite of the cake instead of 3 slices, or you don't have to even bring the donuts into the house, right? There's so many things that you can do preemptively to give yourself a chance at coming out on the other side without regret. I also want you to start to cultivate a relationship with food that doesn't cause regret. Right? Food just is. It just is. It isn't bad. It isn't good. Is the food industry out to get us in a way? Yes. Do they advertise in a way that tricks something up in our brain to emotionally want it? Absolutely. Is sugar really detrimental to our bodies? Yes. But does that mean you have to punish yourself? No. I love when people work out after eating a terrible meal out of punishment. Not out of their ability to say, look how strong I am. Look what I am able to accomplish. You don't have to work out to punish yourself, and you don't have to not eat to punish yourself. You have to ask yourself, am I taking good care of myself? Am I putting what I need into my body, right? Why am I eating this? Why am I feeling this way? And so when you do that, you're actually giving yourself your power back. You're taking the power back when you take control. You're not punishing yourself. I always felt so bad for myself when I was on a diet. Like, oh, I can't have that. And now it's so different. I choose not to. I'm choosing not to because I'm in control. There's no diet industry that controls me. There's no weight on the scale that controls me. It's just me and my goals and how I want to feel, what I want my energy to be, right? And so when you can flip the scale, ironically using that word, but if you can flip it and look at it differently, you now know, well, I'm in control and I'm choosing how I want to feel and what I want to put into my body. So that's number 1. You can get through this, season without gaining weight if you want to. Number 2, if January 1st is the day that you're ready to make change in your life, well, I really hope you consider me. Just message me with your phone number. We'll set up a free consult. But I hope you consider me, and I hope that you consider my services because I'm really, really good at what I do. And I say that, as humbly as possible, just in terms of like me in a sense, but I'm not humble about my plan. My plan has literally transformed lives, thousands of them. And I'd love for you to be another success story because I genuinely care about you. And I will care more about you once we get to know each other. That's number 2. Like, reach out to me. Let's do this thing. Let's let 2020 be your healthiest year. And number 3 is, don't give up hope. If you are someone with an autoimmune disease or something else going on, like, I get you. And I know it feels like your body has turned on you. And I know it feels like you're stuck and lost. And I totally get it. And I am more than happy to share the list of labs that I insist my doctor run, or all the different supplements that I use, or, just the different essential oils that I use for thyroid health, or all the different things I can send to you, and everyone's story is not the same, and our journeys aren't linear, and we can't expect the same results from the same stuff. But what I can say is that if your doctor is not fighting for you and your health, you might want to consider seeing a new doctor. I have an incredible naturopath here located, locally where I am. If you're interested in seeing her, let me know. I can send you her number. But you need someone who's going to fight for you and understand you and believe you when you say you're not feeling well, even if you look like you're okay, right? And someone who can understand that you're a full body. You're a full functioning body, and your gut and your thyroid and your brain and everything is all connected. So that's number 3. And number 4, I just want you to hold on to the hope, right? Hold on to it, because your health is really, really important. And having extra weight on your body doesn't make you any less beautiful or valued or worthy in this world. And if you want to hear more about that, listen to my most recent podcast episode, which is about body positive. But it does affect your health, and it affects your feet, and it affects your joints, and it affects your brain function, and it affects your self-esteem. And you can say it doesn't, but it does, because it's just the way it is, So hire me or don't hire me, but find something, find a path for you. And choose health in 2020. I just hope my story inspires you. That's really all I want, is to be someone who inspires you to take the next step in your life, whether it be in relationships or business or health or just growing into being your best you. But if it is health that you're looking for, please find something. And if you want to hire me, I am here. And if you want to do something else, I applaud you. But I'm cheering you on. And health is not being skinny. Health is just health. You can feel better. You can have more energy. You can have more, cognitive thinking. You can have more self-esteem. You can have better sleep. Like, all those things are available to you. You just have to take that first step, ask for help, find a plan, and then commit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no ons and offs. There's no wagon. Burn the wagon. We're not going off the wagon. We're not getting on the wagon. We're just here to show up as our healthiest selves. So, I'm here in this with you. I will contend for my health for the rest of my life. I will make good choices. I will put the right things into my body. I will try to get enough sleep. I will have to fight to get in enough water every day because, especially when it's cold out, I have to remind myself. But it bleeds into everything. It bleeds into who you hang out with. It bleeds in how you take good care of yourself. It bleeds in how you respect yourself. It bleeds into your quality of sleep and the quality of your relationships. And so health starts out as just reducing the number on the scale and then becomes something so much bigger than what you expected. I had no idea that my life was going to look like this 3 years later, and I'm ridiculously grateful that it does. So I just hope that this inspires you in this season. I hope that you choose to follow me to be inspired and to be educated and to, also laugh, because I think I'm pretty funny sometimes. But I just hope that this speaks some truth into you. I want to wish you an incredible holiday, whether you've been celebrating or are celebrating tonight and tomorrow. And just want to encourage you to make good choices. And if this spoke to you at all, if you could share the live, let other people know that there is an answer, especially if they're fighting with an autoimmune disease. Like, I am here for you. I hear you. I see you. And, message me if you ever want to chat. Doesn't have to be about health. If you're just looking for a friend, I am here, and good luck.